All right, everybody. Reggie, the Front Row Report. We're in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We're at Pierre's once again. One of my favorite venues.
You're here often, right?
Quite a bit. Yes. Quite a bit.
I feel the same way. Not as often as you, but yeah, every few months we find our way back here.
You guys were just here back in September.
Yes.
So,
yes
on the headlining run.
Yes,
actually.
indeed.
How did the headlining run go? It was your first headline run since the debut release?
Yeah, and honestly, like our first legit headline run for the course of like 5 weeks. Us and Like a Storm and Islander, which funny enough, I just got
Both
this.
wearing the Islander shirt.
I just got this like 2 days ago.
I just got this about a week ago.
And apparently we called each other with the memo ahead of time to wear. But yeah, it was a really cool run. It stretched everywhere from Colorado Springs out to the East Coast and up and down, actually up the West Coast too. So it was a really cool run. We were excited with how successful it was, and we ended up actually coming out again in December for a couple weeks of headlining shows, and you know, it's all been good. We're looking forward to Shiprocked right after the New Year.
Perfect time for a cruise.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Especially being in Indiana in December.
Yes.
Good time for a cruise.
Yes, good time for a cruise. It's like, what, the first week of February?
Yeah.
And then we do a run with 10 years for Revolvers from Birth to Burial Tour.
Right, and you're coming back to Pierce for that tour too?
I saw us on the front door advertisement for the headlining run. I saw there was a poster out there for that. We were on the poster for tonight's show with Buck Cherry, and then there's already a poster for the 10 years show here in the spring. So we have 3 advertisements at the front door of Pierre's right now.
Yes, it's ridiculous. But I mean, it's also good because the crowd gets to know you really well. You're not here as much as Like a Storm has been here. I think they've been here like 6 times this year. And so if the fans like them, great. If the fans don't like them, tough.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But it's been a crazy year for you guys. I mean, you released this sophomore record, Peace at All Costs.
Yes, indeed.
You played the main stage at Louder Than Life.
Yeah, and Aftershock.
Yes.
Both of which were really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and if you can summarize, how would you sum up 2014 for you?
2014 was, I mean, it was largely preparing for and doing the record. I mean, we were writing it most of January, February. We were recording a lot of March, April, and May. And then the summer we were doing one-offs here and there, but it was really like getting the tour ready and getting prepped for the tour that was in September, and then we've just been doing shows ever since. So I mean, I guess 2014 was a year of preparation and then hitting the road, you know, and just getting ready for that whole next 2 years of touring that we'll be doing again.
Yes. Funny enough, Pierre's was the first time that we saw Otherwise.
Oh, right on.
Yes, it was on the Stone Sour Papa Roach tour.
Yep.
In January, of course, freezing cold as always.
But it was so hot in here because there were so many bodies in the door they couldn't let any more in, and everybody's sweating inside and it was freezing outside.
I just remember we went outside to smoke or something. We opened the doors and just steam just poured out, and and then caught you guys a couple times that year, and it's been fun. So
absolutely.
But I mean, the debut, True Love Never Dies, did so well. I mean, for a first record to go that deep with singles on it is just almost unheard of.
Yeah, it is for sure.
And each single did really well. The album did really well. How do you separate yourself from that to put yourself into the mindset to go into the studio and write a record again?
I mean, it was really just focusing on making sure we had good songs for this record. You know, like there's actually a couple on Peace at All Costs that came from demos we had before True Love Never Dies, and they simply, literally at that point in time, just didn't fit on the first record, but we felt like they matched with the songs we were coming up for this record. We'd been writing a bunch on the road. Both Andrew, our guitar player, and I have Pro Tools rigs on our computer.
Okay.
So we were able to demo stuff while we were on the road for the first record, and then the second we were off, we took like literally a week off and then went straight into writing sessions for Peace at All Costs. So we ended up with like 30 some odd songs and whittled them down to the 12 that made the record. And for us, it was all about, we knew we'd be shooting for songs to get on the radio, of course, but we also wanted to be able to stretch musically and show that we were, you know, the kind of artist that had a lot more depth than maybe what we were able to show on the first record.
Okay.
And that's where songs like Man on Fire, which was a song we'd had prior, but it was a song that I mean, literally the last minute and a half of that song is us improvising in the studio, you know, and we kind of pulled that all together as we were doing it in the studio, and it was really a lot of fun, and not anything that we were able to do first time around.
I feel like on Peace at All Costs, the heavier songs are heavier than they were on True Love Never Dies. The ballads are more even powerful than they were, and also more beautiful than they were.
Yeah.
It feels like you guys really went, you know, head on, head first into this rock record, and really put everything into it. And I think it really shows, because it's it's more emotional than True Love Never Dies.
Yeah.
Right off the bat with Love and War, you can tell.
Yeah.
All the way to the end. I mean, it's just, I don't want to say it's more complete, but you can tell that you guys really just went True Love Never Dies maximized by 10 on this record.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it's funny, that was the goal. Like, it was like, take what we knew worked off the first record and try to expand upon it, you know? And it's funny, like, Love and War was literally one of the first songs that, like, we left the road, we knew what was successful off of True Love Never Dies, but we also knew what felt like it didn't working, or we felt like we'd hit a certain glass ceiling in terms of what we were able to do on that record. So although that record felt successful, we were also like, we were ready to hit the ground running right away, and one of the first songs we came up with off the road was Love and War.
Nice.
You know, we're like, all right, now we're ready to do this.
Nice.
But I mean, working with a producer like David Bottrell actually was really, really a cool experience and beneficial in so many ways, and part of that was working with how Adrian was singing and how he was able to bring out just the sheer dynamic range in his vocal that I feel like had really always been there, but had never been pushed as hard as David pushed him, and that shows in what that final vocal is throughout that record. I mean, he's really singing in ranges that he's never sang before, and styles he's never sang before. And I know it was like, there's so many things that were slightly uncomfortable for us at the beginning, and then as we were getting into it, we're like, oh, okay, this is really cool. Like, this is where we can see ourselves going, you know. And working. He was such a hands-on producer the whole way through, from the moment he arrived to the you know, time the record ended. It really was a great process throughout.
Nice.
You know, they essentially like took the songs that we had and just saw their full potential from the beginning. So it was really, really great.
Nice. And the songs translate really well over to being played live.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have a record where the songs are great on record, but they're not great live, or they're great live, but they're better than they are on the record.
Right.
But what you hear on the record is exactly what you're going to hear when you see Otherwise live. You know, Love and War sounds just like it does. Really good.
Yeah.
You know, Coming from the Throne, just like it is on the record. So you can tell that they translate well.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, one of the things that Bottrell did when he showed up was we sat around, like, the whole band and him, each with acoustic guitars on, all trying out every little idea we had on these songs, right? And then once we got down to where we knew what the songs would be, or at least we thought we knew what they were going to be, he was like, all right, we're getting on our instruments, everybody behind their instruments, you know, we're going to play through the song. And we're like, hey, we're gonna play through this stuff before we get in the studio. Like, do bands even do that anymore? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And so it was, I mean, literally, like, we're back in there. I mean, we were in the garage, like, running through these songs full band for another few days, like, making sure that everything was fine-tuned. So when we finally did hit the studio, we knew exactly what we were going to do, you know.
Nice.
We had obviously that luxury with the first record, because the first record was all the songs we were playing live as an unsigned band, you know, that ended up coming into the first record. But this one, I mean, there was, like I say, so many dynamics and so many things we knew we were trying to do. We're like, well, we got to see if we can pull this off live, so let's put some parts out there and see what still actually works when we're playing in the room as a band, you know. So it was a really, really cool experience. It just brought us all closer together in the end.
Nice. I mean, we're winding down 2014, and obviously the announcement was made, I think it was yesterday, that V's going to be leaving the band after about, what, 3.5, 4 years?
Yeah, about that time, yeah.
What are the plans going forward for Otherwise? Obviously, maybe looking for another bass player. Is this going to maybe set you back at all? Or?
No, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, V brought a lot of stuff to the table, both on stage and off stage. But obviously, like, it was just a thing that he was just like, you know what, I'm cool. I've done what I wanted to do in music right now. I really want to do other things in life. And we're like, cool. It's just finding the right personality. I mean, we're not playing, you know, classically trained crazy pieces up there, like, you know, we need a solid bass player, but we also need someone essentially that we click with personally, and it's like we've talked to a few people that we know. We're getting a ton in what is like 24 hours, and I think I've gotten 50 or 70 or some odd crazy like number of emails that have come into things. So it's like we're just kind of like looking through them all and you know, trying to see and get a hold of people, and you know, it's funny, we had when our first bass player left, we had, I think, 10 days to get that sorted out, and this time we have 3 weeks.
That's not bad.
Oh yeah,
That's a lot
kinds of time. Yeah, but it'll be all good. I mean, we've always been a band that's had adversity and been able to find a way to power through. We'll find the right guy and we'll find what happens. Look who just showed up.
Oh, look who's here.
What up? What's
going on, man? How's it going?
Good, brother.
Good to see you again.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me hop in.
Oh, definitely, man. Ready for the show.
Yeah, how you doing, brother?
Doing good.
Yeah.
And that's it this week from the Front Row Report.
That's right. Man, so 2014 is about done, man. Obviously with Christmas, wrap up 2014. Looking for a bass player, obviously.
Yep.
You guys going to be off the road at all for Christmas and New Year's, or are you guys plugging through?
We have our first ever headlining show in Vegas on December 27th at the House of Blues. Sorry,
Nice.
I got half the sentence out. I was thinking two things at once. First ever headlining House of Blues show in Vegas on December 27th. So, funny enough, one of our buddies from Vegas is actually filling in on that gig. He was like one of those guys that, I mean, I know I've done a ton of gigs with him back in Vegas, and you know, it's one of those things like, hey, we need a guy to fill in this one show. Can you do this? Like, yeah, absolutely, cool. And then, literally, as that's happening, we're searching for the permanent fill-in.
Is he a Blue Man guy?
No, I've played in 4 or 5 bands with this guy over the years. Now, he's one of those savants that plays every instrument and knows his way around everything.
Nice.
So I was like, I know this guy can fill in a heartbeat, so it's all good.
Nice. What better place to, headline show at home?
Yes.
I mean, that's gonna be crazy.
And I mean, we had back before we were even signed, we had a residency with Station Casinos, which was like more of a locals casino chain out in Vegas, right? So we were playing every 2 weeks in Green Valley Ranch, then playing in Aliante Station, like
oftentimes with Steel Panther.
Often with Steel Panther.
That's always a party.
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah.
So it was a cool experience, but so we've done a ton of headline shows with them in particular around town, and obviously like the clubs as well. But stepping up to headline the House of Blues is really a milestone for the band. So we're really looking forward to that show.
Nice.
I remember this one moment. We were they used to do this after hours thing at the House of Blues. They turned into a club. It was called Club Rubber, I think it was called. And
this is news to me.
And my cousin, my late cousin Ivan Patrick and I were standing on stage. We were just starting to jam together.
Nice.
He was the first drummer I ever played with in a garage. And we were standing on stage with this DJ, and I remember we were looking around, and this place is packed. And he's like, "Cuz, one day, we're gonna be on the stage playing." And I was like, "All right, we're drunk and we're freaking broke." He's like, "All right, cuz." He's like, "I promise you, we're gonna do this." And it's just.
You've opened there a bunch of times, but this is the first time to actually headline. Yeah,
nice. Goes back to just how big 2014's been for you guys. Obviously, the sophomore record is out.
It's been big in a lot of strange ways.
Yeah, a lot of milestones, in certain, both positive and negative, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny too, like taking the break off the road that we had to take. It was cool coming back onto the road and seeing that people actually, it felt like they missed us. You know what I mean? And like the crowds at our headlining shows were bigger than they were before and all that kind of stuff. Like you could see the growth that had happened even though we were off the road that whole time.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, you guys are one of the heaviest touring bands that there is. I mean, you're on the road so much. I mean, just in Indiana, you're here so much. I think I saw you guys in Indiana like 3 times last year, I think.
We're fortunate. To be able to, we might not be one of the biggest bands out there by any stretch of the word, but we're fortunate that there is demand for us to continue to come back to these markets.
Right, and like I said, you guys tour so much. I think that when you take some time off the road, fans are like, don't know what to do. We're so used to being able to see you guys come back, And there's so many bands that they take the fans for granted. You guys, every night you're on stage, you show the fans how much they mean to you guys and the gratitude that you have for them.
It's no matter where we end up in our careers and how successful we become, we know that there are a million dudes that would kill to do what we do and to even get as far as we've gotten, and we still have so much further to go, but
it's evident by the number of emails we've already gotten in 24 hours to be a bass player in the band.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, my personal Facebook is it's already our Facebooks are all inundated with messages, but now it's like to see all these guys that are hungry to do what we do, and they would I mean, literally they're writing and saying, I will drop everything I'm doing right now to be in your band.
Yeah.
what is crazy is that I'm sure they also don't realize, because it's not what we expected it to be.
Right.
It was totally different than what we thought it was going to be. But we still love it, you know.
Right.
Guys like Corky and myself, my brother in particular, you know, it's pretty much what we were like born to do, I think, you know. And these guys who are going to be auditioning for us and sending out their material, we want them to realize that it's a lot more hard work than
a lot more time away than you think is
a lot more sacrifice. You know,
Yeah.
everything. There's, you know, you're sacrificing good paychecks at home. You're sacrificing time with your family. You're sacrificing your health, your sleep, your you know, stress levels, like all that stuff. But
I always lose weight because I never eat on the road. You know?
which that could be. Every time we get to come to a show like this, the past few shows that we've done this week, you know, in Kansas City last night, in Racine tonight, and then tomorrow at the Machine Shop, these are the moments or the reasons why all of that other stuff is worth it. You know, so if you really want to be a wise bass player, you need to realize the reality of the situation.
I was wondering what you were going to say. You need to realize what?
Yes.
It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time for this to happen, if anything, because the holidays coming up, a little bit of time off the road. It's not like you guys are in the middle of, or you know, a big summer headline tour or anything
I mean,
like that.
it's fortunate that we do have a few weeks off, but
Yeah.
I mean, it would certainly have been easier in between album cycles than
That's true.
in between tour legs.
Well, you know, for whatever reason, nothing ever gets handed to this band.
Yeah.
And nothing ever comes easy to us. Like,
Right.
Fuck it, man.
It's one of those things too, where it's like you say, like so many things have happened. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, we'll figure it out. There was no like, what are you doing? Why? It was like, well, we'll figure it out.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, in all honesty, you know, we understand, you know, like V came into the band, you know, nearly 4 years ago. He's sacrificed, as we were mentioning, so much. He worked very hard, you know, for this project. He lived with my brother and I, you know. So it was like we gave him as much as he gave us, you know. And in return, all we ask for is that, you know, we all want to leave the situation grateful for having the time we've had together. You know, a friend of mine told me, a very good friend of mine said to me once, he was like, you know, we, through all the deaths and tragedies and all that stuff that we've experienced, he's like, are you going to be upset because this person is gone, or are you going to be happy for the time that you were able to spend with them? And you know, since then I've tried to think of it that way. And you know, V and I had a very long conversation last night, and it was good, man. You know, it's difficult. It is a difficult thing for us. You know, by no means is it easy to lose a member, but if it's on amicable terms, you know,
it's good that it's on good terms.
Yeah,
you know, because it leaves the door open for if it ever needs to happen again, he can come back.
Yeah, you know, you never know, man. And
it's nice too that, I mean, like last night was the first show we did after we announced that he was actually leaving, and it actually allows for there to be a bit of a celebration for him and for the band that these are his last few shows with us, you know, and it made. To me, it made last night's show far more special than it would have been otherwise, and it was already going to be a great show, you know. So it was cool, and I hope that, I mean, he feels the same way. You know, I think he's,
and he did.
Yeah.
You know, like last night was very emotional in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, we're going to continue that tonight. And the beauty of our symbol, our logo, the Phoenix, is that every time one of the wings burns off, we always come back stronger. It grows back and reignites brighter. And every time, Corky is a huge example of that. When he joined us, my brother and I, like, the wheels had completely fallen off. And, you know, we've been through this so many times with members leaving and members quitting and just not realizing what it actually takes to get to this point. And then Corky joined us, and we became better. You know what I mean? And so I'm fully confident that this next reincarnation of the bird, of the phoenix, of otherwise, is going to be that much stronger.
Awesome. It gives fans a chance to be a part of it as well and take part in everything with you. You know, when fans know what's going on,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if it's happening on the road, it gives them a chance to celebrate and be a part of it as well. You see that with
Yeah.
so many bands, you know.
Yeah.
And it's always good when they're able to share in their, you know, in their love experiences as well with you.
Absolutely.
And the response has been very, like, you know, overwhelming. People are like, "All right, man, you know, we're gonna miss you, V. Thank you so much. But we love you guys. You guys rock, man." You know, it's like overwhelmingly positive, you know.
So, time off the road over the holidays, what do you look forward to the most? Especially with
Auditioning bass
Christmas and
players.
Auditioning bass players. Reading through hundreds of emails.
Yes.
Sitting under a little blue penis.
Yes.
Oh, well, at least it's not mistletoe.
It has blue balls, we noticed.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
Anyway, Christmas.
Christmas, I get to. I'm happy I get to go see my my newborn son on Monday.
Yeah.
So it'll be my first Christmas with him, and yeah, I'm excited about that.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks.
Yeah, mostly it's just that we're all close with our families, and it's just nice to, like, spend the time with them that we can, especially just being off the road. Well, Christmas or not, just being off the road and spending time with family is super, super cool.
Right.
So, like I was able to help decorate the tree, and then we were
Nice.
gone like 2 days later.
At least you got to decorate
Yes,
the tree. You
so
got
the-
to do it.
So the elf on the shelf has been entertaining the kids the whole time,
Nice.
but I have not been able to partake with, you know, any of the actual activities.
Nice.
So, yeah,
we
it is what it is.
just introduced my little girl to Elf on a Shelf for the first time this
Yes.
year. She's old enough to finally understand
Oh,
what
you have
it
a
means.
daughter? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she'll be 3 in February.
Oh, wow.
So,
All right, man.
Yeah, and so it's also a good way to make sure the kids are good.
You try, you try.
So they're not,
At least
but-
there's a thread out there.
Right.
She's gonna tell Santa if you're being bad. Elf is watching.
It works for us.
Wait till, wait till she's 4 or 5.
And she'll just be terrified.
Yeah, exactly.
So, guys, have a great show tonight, man. The Electric Christmas here at Pierre's from the Bear, one of the best rock stations.
Yeah.
Really, one of the only rock stations left in Indiana. But it's going to be a great show. Buck Cherry, Otherwise, and Rev Theory tonight.
Well, it's a bunch of friends, man. These guys they're like extended family for us in rock and roll. There's only a few bands that we say that about. These guys are our homies, some of our closest friends in the business, and that's a very rare thing, man. And that's another thing that aspiring bass players need to realize, that there's not a whole lot of friends in the rock and roll.
Everything's gonna end up being all right. Christmas is coming up. New bass player is coming soon.
Yes.
So-
And we're going to unwrap him or her for you.
That's a little creepy. No, it's gonna be good. So 2015's looking even bigger.
Bring them on stage with the first show and them jump out of a giant cardboard box.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Surprise!
Exactly. Plans coming together.
2015's looking even better. New album, Peace at All Costs. Otherwise, Fighting Off the Demons, Coming for the Throne. Ryan's over there. Guys, have a great show tonight,
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks so much, Reggie.